Londoners are no stranger to a thick fog, Hugo, but this is no regular weather phenomenon. Shall I recap? First, the fog lifted and we could see the moon. Its natural procession halted, with that unnatural violet hue. Then, random violence erupted in the streets and crazed animals. Even for the East End, that's unexpected. But where did they come from? And now reports of radical zealots causing mayhem. Well, it's no mystery why Her Majesty chose to enlist my aid. I am, after all, the brightest technological mind of our era. Yes, thank you, Hugo. I believe we'll find the answers in the skies above London. Take a look at the etherioscope. These radiation readings, well, I don't know what to make of them. If the equipment is functioning properly, it shouldn't be possible. Unless... the engines must have been damaged in the storm. Fortunately, my armor kept me safe, but we'll need to make some repairs.
Burn the heretics.
Hugo, I believe these locals intend to do us harm. Kindly relay a missive to the Syndicate dispatch. We may need some assistance.
Miss Molly, it looks like you have correspondence. Must be urgent to reach you here.
I won't be needing that room tonight, Eustace. I'm off to help an old friend.
Emerging from the wood's darkest recesses, you spy a caravan in a clearing. Close by are a tent and a table, but the site is deserted. A warm campfire suggests that someone was recently here, though you have no desire to wait for them in a forest full of predators. As tempting as it may be, right now you'd prefer someplace less mysterious. You leave, hoping the residents are able to return before the wilderness claims them. You see a pillar of smoke and follow it to a small farm, where the starling rests in a field. Despite signs of a struggle, it looks like lights are on inside. You climb the gangplank and find Griswold inside, ratcheting a leaking pipe. He looks relieved to see you and invites you to join him at a table covered in maps and scientific charts.
She'd make a fine barn, Griswold.
The Starling's engines took a beating in the storm, but she'll fly again. I just need the right parts.
The two of you seem to have your hands full. What exactly does Her Majesty need from me?
Our engines need replacement parts. Not something you can pick up in the Haypenny shop, but I'm sure you'll manage. Hugo and I need to stay here and finish repairs.
Is that all?
I'm certain the lunatics who accosted us outside were motivated by some external force. If you're able, find out what it is and put a stop to it.
Unidentified floral growths have seemingly sprouted up overnight near Rupert's Hollow, the site of an old logging clearcut. The ragged stumps and rotted logs are now riddled with the shimmering pods. At the edge of the woods, you come upon a faded, ivy-choked manor. The eccentric scholar, Dr. Crowthorne, invites you inside. Within are shelf upon shelf of heavy black tomes, specimens in foggy glass jars, maps and other gewgaws. He offers sanctuary, though the house pulses with an undefinable energy. A Roma woman sits cross-legged before a small campfire along the roadside. Though she is old, her eyes are quick and bright. Anselina waves you over to share the warmth. She will also share her guidance and wisdom for a price. A deep hush pervades the tumble-down roadside inn, where the patrons stare silently into their cups as the fire struggles against the damp. The innkeeper, Eustace Bell, stands behind the bar, a loaded musket hanging on the wall behind him. Inside the crumbling stone church, you're confronted by 3 stained glass saints with hollow eyes. Father Osgood is standing, arms spread before the altar, muttering to himself in an unfamiliar language. The steeple bell rings out, though the day is perfectly calm. A low, even sound seems to rise from the ground beneath your feet. Casting about for the source, you realize it comes from the flowers. Somehow they are humming in unnatural unison. There is a nagging familiarity about it, like a children's nursery rhyme. As you listen, you succumb to an inexplicable urge to sing along, though you cannot fathom the language, about realities yet to be, and a world doomed to die. The pods all sprout from a web of thick purple vines. Following the vines, you discover that they all lead deeper into the forest, as if the pods were the nodes of some unholy nexus. The pods in Rupert's Hollow fall silent, and the purple glow fades. If anything lived inside them, it's at peace now. Letting out a scream that eerily echoes the kind made by humans, the massively oversized plant crumbles to the ground. Its vines shrivel up as they let out toxic fumes that mildly fog the nighttime they shall no longer haunt. A small comfort gained in a world that remains awash with terrors. Something evil haunts the trees surrounding Hangman's Hill. The woods are strange here, the shadows somehow darker, and there have been rumours of a weird creature lurking just out of sight. Several people have gone missing. It's time to investigate. You come across a travelling fiddler camping by the roadside. He takes notice as you pass but continues his song. It whispers of a terrible gang of highwaymen who terrorised the forest long ago. One of the leaders, Old Tom, was a murderous sort and was hanged at the top of the hill. He stops to explain how the song was passed on by his grandfather, but it's not a ghost story, it's a curse. A deep hush pervades the tumble-down roadside inn, where the patrons stare silently into their cups as the fire struggles against the damp. The innkeeper, Eustace Bell, stands behind the bar, a loaded musket hanging on the wall behind him. The branches overhead cast long and warped shadows in the pale moonlight. A long dead tree, blackened by fire, seems oddly out of place. You stumble along in a daze and eventually come to notice several pairs of eyes, shimmering in the scant light as they watch you from either side. But when you startle and turn, there's nothing there. The longer this night lasts, the more it seems your mind is playing tricks on you. In a woodsy glade, you discover a young woman, her flesh crawling with lichen, her eyes dim and unfocused as she mutters to herself. Though you can barely make out the sounds, you somehow grasp their meaning.
Leave, she whispers. Save yourself while you still can.
You sit the woman down, give her some water.
I fled here as this purple rash covered my body, and thoughts of rage and murder flooded my mind. I expect I shall either expire or become something new. If you somehow make it back, give the Bitterby family my regrets and tell them not to search for me. I am at peace.
You watch as she slowly draws her last breath. For a moment she is still, but then the corpse begins to convulse. She's one of them now. A Roma woman sits cross-legged before a small campfire along the roadside. Though she is old, her eyes are quick and bright. Anselina waves you over to share the warmth. She will also share her guidance and wisdom for a price. At the edge of the woods, you come upon a faded, ivy-choked manor. The eccentric scholar, Dr. Crowthorne, invites you inside. Within are shelf upon shelf of heavy black tomes, specimens in foggy glass jars, maps and other gewgaws. He offers sanctuary, though the house pulses with an undefinable energy. You triumphed over the highwayman, at least for now. The shadows are a bit dimmer and the air sweeter. The roads once more safe for travel. A ghostly figure is stalking the Epping forest paths. The locals are terrified, evoking ancient tales of Herne the Hunter and the Wild Hunt. Myth or menace, it's your duty to investigate. The farmers north of the forest are complaining about a weird phenomenon. The water from the wells is infused with a ghostly purple glow. These same folks were last seen dancing wildly around a fire, a murderous rage lighting their eyes. A family in Epping Wake believes their daughter has been replaced by a changeling. They say the young girl in their house is in fact one of the Fae. Her laughter uncanny, her gaze still and unnerving. She speaks no more, but only titters madly. You offer to search for their child in the woods.
Hercules. Go get him.
A deep hush pervades the tumble-down roadside inn, where the patrons stare silently into their cups as the fire struggles against the damp. The innkeeper, Eustace Bell, stands behind the bar, a loaded musket hanging on the wall behind him. A Roma woman sits cross-legged before a small campfire along the roadside. Though she is old, her eyes are quick and bright. Anselina waves you over to share the warmth. She will also share her... Off the forest path, you find a secluded glade that seems to be free of the purple moss. The moonlight gleams silver through the leaves, and you enjoy a moment of peace. At your feet, a neat ring of toadstools glistens with dew. You're startled by the sound of bells. "We know why you are here, but the girl is ours now." The voices speak in unison, though you cannot see the source. "The whispering lichen will come to control these woods. Leave now. You will get no further warning." The wind calms, and you sense you are alone again. Inside the crumbling stone church, you're confronted by 3 stained glass saints with hollow eyes. Father Osgood is standing, arms spread before the altar, muttering to himself in an... You stop to rest by an oak tree, and your sleep is disturbed by a vision. You stand before a stone table, upon which rest 3 swaddled infants. One is blanketed in white linen with a lilac pattern. The second is wrapped in muslin with bluebirds. The third is swaddled in green cloth, embroidered with tiny shepherds. Black water is rising at your feet, and you know you must choose one of them to save. You reach for the bundle with the shepherd pattern, before the rising water swallows everything in sight. Upon waking, you realize there's nothing in your hands. Suddenly, a branch breaks behind you, and a young girl emerges from the woods. Without a word, she hands you a gift, and you offer to help her find her way home. You return the girl to her parents. As you enter the home, the thing masquerading as their daughter confronts you. With a face disfigured and pale, it declares, "You wretched people have only doomed yourselves." The family cowers and awaits your decision. Swiping at the creature, it dodges and bolts away from the house, screaming out a warning before fading into the woods. You sense there's something to the changeling's warning, but tell yourself to accept that some things remain a mystery. With the changeling banished, the family is happy to be reunited. The girl flashes an odd smile and waves goodbye as you take your leave. Beneath the light of the crimson moon, Epping Forest seems corrupted somehow. The trees are twisted into unnatural shapes, and you feel as if you're being observed by a lurking evil. The path you are following has come to an end. You'll have to retrace your steps.
Hercules.
The dead trees lean close, hemming you in, the overlapping branches obscuring the moon's light. The path you were following fades into a thicket of sharp thorns, forcing you to turn back. You're left with no choice but to retrace your steps. The atmosphere grows still more oppressive, and you find yourself panting for breath. You're losing time, and with it, any hope of making it out of this place alive. A deep hush pervades the tumble-down roadside inn, with a patron
Come on, Hercules.
At the edge of the woods, you come upon a faded, ivy-choked manor. The eccentric scholar Dr. Crowthorne invites you inside. Within are shelf upon shelf of heavy black tomes, specimens in foggy glass jars, maps and other gewgaws. He offers sanctuary, though the house pulses with an undefinable energy. The overgrown remains of a logging camp sit abandoned in a broad clearing. You soon... A Roma woman sits cross-legged before a small campfire along the roadside. Though she is old, her eyes are quick and bright. Anselina waves you over to share the warmth. She will also share her guidance and wisdom for a price. You can barely believe your eyes. A swatch of moonlight seems to mark out the forest path. You step out of the shadows and back onto the well-travelled road. As the darkness dissipates in the moonlight, you emerge from the woods, thankful that tonight won't be your last in this world. Nobody wants to be lost in the woods, even under normal circumstances, and the endless night made matters much worse. You can only hope that you won't lose your way again. You've intercepted a missive from a local constabulary to Scotland Yard. A few officers went missing while on patrol near Blackwell Marsh, and the locals seem to be growing restless.
Hercules.
A family in Epping Wake believes their daughter has been replaced by a changeling. They say the young girl in their house is in fact one of the Fae. Her laughter uncanny, her gaze still and unnerving. She speaks no more, but only titters madly. You offer to search for their child in the woods.